When you think about drugs and the use of mind altering substances, most of us would see it as an inherently negative practice. However, there is a counterculture of people that believe that the use of these substances, the judicious use of these substances, is an experience that everyone should go through at least once in their lives. One of the most important and well known figureheads of this counterculture is the subject of this video. Terence McKenna was an American ethnobotanist, mystic, psychonaut, lecturer, author, and an advocate for the responsible use of naturally occurring psychedelic plants. Raised in a Colorado town, McKenna discovered psychedelics in 1965 when he enrolled in the University of California, Berkeley, where he studied ecology and shamanism. The 60s truly were a liberal time. He was interested in cultures that had documented use of mystic sources to converse with their god, traveling to the Far East and South America in search of exotic mind-altering philosophies and substances, including two of his favorites, magic mushrooms and ayahuasca, a DMT-laced tea that was brewed from plants native to Amazonia. Before we head into the theories he's put forward, let's look at a few widely used mind-altering substances. LSD, commonly known as acid, is one of the most popular or common psychedelic drugs that people partake of. LSD causes the user to have strong alterations in perception, including thoughts, vision, and hearing. This potent psychedelic is a semi-synthetic drug that combines both natural and man-made substances. It activates serotonin receptors in the brain and stimulates serotonin production. LSD is typically taken orally in the form of blotter tabs or drops. The effects last around 12 hours and can be quite intense. Next, let's move on to McKenna's personal favorites, psychedelic mushrooms, commonly referred to as shrooms. They are one of the most popular psychedelic drugs today. These mushrooms evolved various different psychedelic compounds as a defense mechanism against potential predators. According to the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, the compound responsible for the effects of magic mushrooms is psilocybin, a Schedule 1 controlled substance. After the gut ingests the psilocybin, it is converted into psilocin. In some cases, users can enter an altered state for several days. Humans have likely been ingesting them since prehistoric times for their effects. These effects typically last around 6 hours and can include both visual and auditory hallucinations. These mushrooms provide their effects by activating serotonin receptors in the brain, usually in the prefrontal cortex. I'll be talking more about these later when we discuss the stoned ape theory postulated by McKenna. In the early 1970s, McKenna and his younger brother Dennis, who would later become a slightly more sober authority on psychedelics, trekked into the jungles of Colombia, where they would ingest enormous quantities of ayahuasca, marijuana, and mushrooms. McKenna's visions from these drugs persuaded him that tryptamines, a class of chemicals that include DMT and psilocybin, were messages from an alien civilization or overmind. According to McKenna, the purpose of existence is novelty generation, and our culture is generating novelty at an accelerating rate. The internet, nanotechnology, pharmacology, superstring theory, genetic engineering, and of course artificial intelligence are shattering our old paradigms, and they are pushing us towards a new psychedelic and fantastic future. According to his calculations, on December 21st, 2012, something big would happen, something apocalyptic, which would bring about the end of life as we know it. One possible catalyst for this destruction, McKenna said, was artificial intelligence. Now, let's take a pause here. Sitting in 2020, we know this to not be true. However, let's look into why he thought so, because according to me, some of the things that he's talked about are very true and they might be a possibility in the near future, if not 2012. According to McKenna, artificial intelligence would be one catalyst for this destruction, which would soon produce machines that were way smarter than any human. Yeah, McKenna was an early proponent of the singularity. Let's talk for a second about artificial intelligence, because interestingly, McKenna was very convinced about the role that it would play in the future of our species as human beings. A 2-year study from McKinsey came to a conclusion that by 2030, 30% of all jobs will be taken over by AI. Now, many proponents of AI would tell you that in the past, AI has always created more jobs than it has taken away. However, the past isn't always a proper indicator of the future. in the past, technological disruptions of one industry didn't necessarily mean the disruption of another. Let's take car manufacturing as an example. A robot in an automobile manufacturing factory can drive big gains in productivity and efficiency, but that same robot would be useless trying to manufacture anything other than a car. The underlying technology of the robot might be adapted, but at best it is still only addressing manufacturing. AI is different because it can apply to virtually any industry. When you develop an AI that can understand language, recognize pattern, and problem solve, disruption isn't contained. Now, for a second, imagine creating an AI that can diagnose disease and handle medications and address lawsuits. You don't need to imagine that. Artificial intelligence is already doing those exact things. Now, after this, I don't want to come off as somebody who is against AI, because according to me, I think that the human species must always be moving, and AI is just a side effect of our progress. So I'm not trying to come off as somebody who's trying to bash artificial intelligence. I'm just saying that it might not be as good as it sounds. Now that we've had a little rant about artificial intelligence and we've learned a little bit about the man himself, let's tackle one of the most popular theories that he's ever put forward. Terence McKenna called for an extinction of orthodox evolutionary theories, pushing forward his own take on evolution called the Stone Age theory. Until he postulated his theory, and indeed after that, human evolution was generally attributed to milestones in human history, such as the discovery of fire and farming. If you read my blog, link in the description by the way, you will find a theory that speaks along these lines with regards to how humans develop the ability to think. Let me give you a little snippet. This theory states that when humans learned how to cook food with fire around 1 to 2 million years ago, their massive faces with enormous jaw muscles were no longer providing any advantage. Cooking helped to pre-digest food and made it easier to bite. It even helped us sanitize raw meat and reduced bacteria-based illnesses. These jaw muscles, however, took up neural space and skeletal space. According to genetic evidence, generations later, the weak jaw ones survived because that space was taken up by the expansion of our cerebral cortex, the folded, wrinkly part of the brain which is involved in decision making, remembering, speech, risk analysis, innovation, inferring causality, questioning, etc. Basically everything that makes us human. This expansion marked the beginning of an era with more importance given to cognition and intellect. Now let's imagine Homo erectus, a now extinct species of hominids that stood upright and became the first of our ancestors to move beyond a single continent around 2 million years ago. These hominids, some of whom eventually became Homo sapiens, which are us, began to expand their range beyond Africa, moving into Asia and Europe using the land bridge. Along the way, they tracked animals, encountered dung, and discovered new plants. A more radical interpretation of these events involves the same animals, dung, and plants, but also includes psychedelic drugs. In 1992, Terence McKenna argued in the book Food of the Gods that what enabled Homo erectus to evolve into Homo sapiens was its encounter with magic mushrooms and psilocybin, the psychedelic compound within them, on that evolutionary journey. He called this the stoned ape hypothesis. According to him, psilocybin caused the primitive brain's information processing capabilities to rapidly reorganize, which in turn kickstarted the rapid evolution of cognition that led to the early art, language, and technology written in Homo sapiens' archaeological record. As early humans, he said, we ate our way to a higher consciousness by consuming these mushrooms, which he hypothesized grew out of animal manure. Psilocybin, he said, brought us out of the animal mind and into the world of articulated speech and imagination. As human cultural evolution led to the domestication of wild cattle, humans began to spend a lot more time around cattle dung and cows, he explained. And because of psilocybin mushrooms commonly growing in cow droppings, the human mushroom interspecies codependency, quite a mouthful, was enhanced and deepened. It was at this time that religious rituals, calendar making, and natural magic came into their own. Whether you believe in what he postulated or think that drugs are something to be wary of, no one can deny the impact that Terence McKenna had on society. He died on the 3rd of April 2000 due to a tumor in his brain. He once said that what we call imagination is actually the universal library of what's real. You couldn't imagine it if it weren't real somewhere, sometime. As always, ladies and gentlemen, please do enter into discourse about this topic in the comments below if you feel like talking about it. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.